Hi viewers, I'm Kolapro. Welcome to the first ever WumpaCast in ages. WumpaCast 2023 for Wumpa Classic Championship 3. And I'm hosting this with Lopsa.
Hello.
And what if you aren't familiar with WumpaCast, what we do here is we discuss, in this case, we're going to discuss round one matches and just in general round one. So we have a few topics that I've written down that we're going to discuss. So first I'll ask overall, Rexy, what do you think overall about round one?
Well, this has pretty much been the largest tournament I've got to see in the Wumpa Classic service since I joined. So I find it amazing to see so many people with so many different skill levels getting around to play Crash games, and it just feels like a great time to be a part of this community, seeing all this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on overall?
I mean, I wish I could have, but I mean, it's great to end up seeing some people end up returning who are from would end up getting involved in past WCC tournaments like Kolapro and MTB, who I believe ended up winning the Super Crash League over at ISGP. So it's really cool to see him being a part of the seedings.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, and also some other faces from outside of Wumpa. But I mean, Abdul as well. I mean, we've seen Abdul in so many different bingo tournaments alongside with the usual suspects, as we know. But even then, we've also got some first timers as well. I mean, we were going to see people like Garth and Debka, and then some amazing work from Bubble Dink as well. So really nice to end up seeing them perform. And Yava was also very, very very strong in this one. He didn't get to speak in any of his races, but he managed to put up an amazing fight. I just wish that he was joining the group over the group Bandicoot. We feel like we really want to see a lot more of him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's a point for a different uh, time, but basically, I
Yeah.
mean, all of his matches were close mostly, so
Mm-hmm.
except like versus me, kind of, but even that wasn't that far away. So yeah. So Lopsa, what do you think overall from about round one?
I'm kind of surprised how smoothly it went compared to some other tournaments I've been part of in the past. And also, it's good to see so many new faces since when I was around 4 years ago. So, seeing a lot of new people here and their different skill levels, and it has been a fun tournament so far to watch.
Awesome, awesome. I definitely agree with both your points. In my opinion, yeah, it kind of went by really quickly. We didn't really feel it, really like yeah, round one. You know, you think round one, it's a lot of matches to do, but it went pretty quickly and it was pretty fun. And yeah, we got to see a lot of old faces from their last tournament was or either WCC2 or Disney Dash One. They returned for this tournament and some new faces that haven't been in any tournaments in our community and seeing what they can do and I'm pretty sure I can say they fit pretty well in tournaments. So some of them managed to get out of round to one as well. So props to them. Yeah, we had a lot of fun matches, great commentary matches, and yeah, everything was great. Speaking of that, I guess I'll go over something interesting. So I got the statistics for games that were played and how many times they were played in round one. So starting with Crash One, which is our first mandatory game, it was only twice, and I believe these matches were Big Garth and Vader and Dorozigum, and the other one was Skelet Casket versus the Gangster. Then we had Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, there were 5 races in this game. I'm not sure if I can count them all on my head right now. Then we had the Crash Bandicoot Warped. We had an insane amount, 9 races. 9 races. So that's also the most played game in round 1. So hopefully we can see some other games more in round 2. Then we had Crash Team Racing, which is a second most played game actually, with six races. That one isn't mandatory, by the way, but I'm kind of going off the release order.
Well, I mean, there are people who really love CTR, so can't fault that at all.
Yeah. We had Crash 4. Crash 4 only 1 race, even though it's a mandatory game, but only 1 race, so just a bit less popular than Crash 1 original. Then we had that match was also Toro Zigan vs TK47. Then we had Crash Bash 3 races, so Crash Bash more popular than Crash 1 and Crash 4.
And one of the
Not
races
really
was
surprising.
not so much Crash Bash, but more like Crash Bandicoot Carnival. So yeah, Japanese version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fun fact is, the first race of the tournament was a Crash Bash race, so I guess it's fitting, but yeah.
It is, especially since it was Dark Lizard being a part of that one, and funnily enough, it was Bubble Dink who chose the goal, so we kind of had a bare opener.
Yeah. Then we had the best game, Breath of Cortex, Breath of Curtis, Crash Bandicoot, and that one was played only once by me and Java. Then we had Crash Bandicoot: A Huge Adventure, or XS. That one was played. That was played once between Political and MTB.
Yeah, I saw the commentary from MTBs, and is there feedback based on the box placement makes me appreciate the creative platforming even more. It is definitely a bit of the mind screw to speedrun though, so mad props to MTB and Plazy for playing it.
We don't see the GBA games much, but when we do see them, it's always a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We had Abdul versus me in WCC2 in this game. That one Abdul won. But it was a good race. Then we had Crash Bandicoot Back in Time, which is not even our original Crash game, which is a fan game actually.
Is it the first time that we've got a fan game represented
No.
in a Oh.
No. Definitely not the first time, but definitely a first time since a bit. Because we didn't have any fan games in WC2 or 1, but it did happen before, like in
Oh, it happened in past tournaments.
other
I get
tournaments.
it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Crash to Insanity, we had 1 race. This was Winnie versus Bobbledink. Winnie Huebiar versus Bobbledink. Then we had Crash Nitro Kart. This was Antonio Curtis versus Kolapro, just 1 race. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Crash 1 was Rexy versus Skater, and another just 1 race. And then we had CTR Nitro Fueled, and also 1 race, King Pass versus MTB. So what do you guys think about the statistics for games?
Well, I'm not surprised with Warped coming out on top because that's extremely accessible to run. But I found it surprising that we didn't quite have as many Crash Bash games as I thought we might have had, especially considering the interesting popularity we have here in this scene. Nevertheless, these are all pretty well balanced. We're going to see a whole load of different games from so many different eras. Although the Radical era, however, has gone untouched, but that would have been difficult to figure out a goal either way. But it's a great spread. So many different console generations out there, and a chance to end up seeing so many different games being represented out there.
I remember we did have in the past a race like in the mutant games, but definitely not in a while. What do you think, Lopsa?
I'm kind of surprised that there were so many games played outside the PS1 era. Like in the past tournaments, the people have all usually picked the original trilogy or CTR or Bash, with very few games coming outside the PS1 era. So it was a nice surprise.
Great, great. That's a great grape. All right, well, I guess we can move on to our next segment. I was gonna say then, what's your favorite matches overall? Okay, I'll start with me, I guess, this time. My favorite match was Gangster vs. Yava, probably. Because that match was pretty decent commentary, and the compares were very close skill-wise, and the race itself was very close. Like, it came down to the boss fight against Dinko. Like, we didn't know who's gonna win. But yeah, Gangster managed to clutch a win there. That was a great race. Definitely, I think, like, there's been close second and close third, like, for the race, for favorite races. Like, Kolapro Antonio Curtis was another one that was great, for example. But yeah. So what's your favorite match, Lopsa?
It was a tough one to pick. It was either Darkly Savini Hubert or your CTR race. Simply because they were just so well played, and especially Lizard Vinny was very close. If I remember correctly, it was very close race and
Yeah.
very fun to watch.
All right. What about you, Rexy? What about you?
All the CTR and by extension Nitro Kart races were all very great. As you mentioned, we had the closeness between between Lizard and Vinny and you and Skelett. But then we also got the two Kolapro kart races, which were always very amusing because Kolapro was delivering his own commentary as well. So that was always great. Abdul versus TK was also extremely tight. They were going for bingo. Didn't quite have enough line for 2 lines, and felt like a lot of it just like went down to Abdul missing out on the platinum relic in Engine Labs. It was a very, very close contest to end up seeing between those two. So yeah, even though I'm more of a platform player rather than a kart racer, I felt like just watching people play the karts would end up giving me a good time.
Awesome. All right, so I guess on that note, let's move to the next segment, I guess. So, what's your favorite match commentary, Rexy? Commentary-wise.
Commentary-wise, I definitely want to end up saying Kolapro Antonio Curtis, because that was just like pure chaos in there.
Just in case.
Yeah, you're good.
I don't need you backseating, but yeah. You're kind of putting out the obvious there.
So much that I had to end up spectating from Twitch side, and it was just like the whole banter that was right there. I also want to give a extended shout out to Rob the Gamer, because he's very expressive with his speech while playing. So that was really neat to end up seeing him deliver some great moments when playing.
I have played this game for like 16 years, and I only just now noticed his nipples.
Oh yeah.
I feel the need to point that out. I have played this game for so goddamn long. He had nipples the whole time.
I want to take my face and rub it all over
Oh
his chest.
jeez, I am never unseeing that.
Also, I definitely remember near the end of his race with Skater that he didn't notice that Papu had nipples
Yeah.
all this time, which I thought was an absolutely hilarious moment just thinking about it.
Definitely. Yeah, so I definitely agree. Like, those two races, the Kolapro and Tony Curtis and Dropped Gamers Skater, I think, yeah. Those ones are like probably the most fun commentary races, or at least one of the most fun commentary races. Even though, yeah, they're both chaotic times and stuff, so there's definitely that. But I feel like also the Dark Lizard Vinny race was it was pretty decent commentary as well.
Whole gameplay.
Your luck is going to win. Well, at least you got the mask,
At least.
skull mask.
We like the skull
So is-
mask. Different kind of skull mask, but a great skull mask nonetheless.
I'll say.
I'll say.
But I would have to give it to actually to Rob the Gamer versus Skater probably. I think that race was we had Kolapro there, we had Soshi, I think, and some other people. So it was a very interesting matchup of people and good commentary.
I also want to give a shout out to how Al ended up giving the names for all his 3 platinum relics. Call them Cool Porn, DMGK, and Booble.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Represent 3 different players, yeah.
based. What about you, Lopsa? What's your favorite one for commentary?
I have to say both cool pro matches because, like Rexy said, he was just running his own commentary. The chaos, especially between cool pro and Antonio, the chaos was very fun to watch.
60-40, but Cool Pro was the
No,
60-40,
not
yeah,
in
maybe
that
something like
sense,
that.
but yeah.
yeah. Cool Pro was the 60. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah exactly.
No,
Right,
not
exactly. Yeah.
execution-wise, but you know.
All right, on to the next segment then. So, most hype matchups. So matchups, I mean, the actual like cards. The players that are playing against each other. How much hype they had for their matches. So I'll start off, and I would say Gangster Yava was always gonna be a great match because the seedings showed us that Yava is pretty decent at the games, and we already knew Gangster is pretty good. And yeah, so we thought it's like pretty good matchup. Another one I think is Skelet Yava. We also knew Skelet's pretty decent in Crash 3, and he's decent CTR. And when they ended up playing Crash 3, it was like, okay, this is gonna be a great race, another great race. Then Dark Lizard Vinny, because well, we all know that they're both great in CTR. We managed to see them together playing against Team Rexy in Retro Rally Championship 5, and they did both pretty well in that. Then, in my opinion, as well, Toro Abdul, well, because both of them ended up facing each other before in WCC2 for the actual tiebreaker second place match, which was bingo, ended up being bingo. And so I definitely think Toro can beat Abdul and Abdul can beat Toro, just depends on the day mostly. And then TK Abdul was another hype match because kind of knew in a way that that TK and Abdul play something that's they're pretty evenly matched in, and they end up playing CTR. And at that point, like, TK is pretty good in CTR, and then Abdul as well. The Abdul is actually probably has a little bit bigger potential to TK and CTR, but he kind of didn't play it long because of Nitro Fuel and just in general. So yeah, that was also a hype matchup. Alright, so what do you think, Lopsa? What was for you pretty hype matchups?
Oh, definitely Abdul and Toto was my biggest hype matchup. Simply because I know they're both very good Crash players. So getting them in the same group was very intriguing. I thought that match would have been for the top of the group, but TK kind of surprised me. Then again, I didn't know him that much, so kind of surprised that TK won the group.
Oh yeah.
And another one that's kind of like out of the park pick, but Crystal Fish or Blazy Hole
Oh
is
yeah.
another one. Because it was, I think it was the second race in a Blazy Hole triple header, like the last matches we were doing.
Yeah.
So it was hype because I realized it was essentially a match to see who gets eliminated. The loser would have gotten eliminated. So two old school players fighting out to see who actually makes it out of round one.
Good shout. Yeah, that's actually a underrated probably matchup. And we knew that Crystal is like Fisher is pretty decent in overall in Crash games, and we obviously know Placy who has a pretty decent uh, playing play style, you know, in as well Crash games. So it was very great match. So what do you think, Rexy, about this?
Well, a lot of what you and Lopsa said was spot on, but I also want to throw in every single one of King Pez's matches in particular, because I know very well that he's very well proficient when it comes to at least the kart races and the insane mechanics, the hop sliding and all of that, and all of the time trials, and especially Crash Bash as well. So it was really great to end up seeing him go head to head with MTB and keep up with him, as well as have this whole back and forth with him with Plazy holding Crash Bash, and even against Crystal Fisher, he ended up being kept neck and neck pretty much very early on within like the first half, and then Plant Food ended up being the decider to see who would end up heading out on top in the end. So really well played, Weapon Pest. Likewise, all of Yaba's matches were also extremely close. You mentioned him versus Gangster. You mentioned him versus Skillet. But even you and Yaba together in Wrath of Cortex, that was also really tight. Could have had some different relic pathing on Yaba's side, but it was the game that he absolutely wanted to play the best at. Well, I mean, we play the most at, rather. And I found it really cool that he, got to pick something and kept up with you.
The funny thing about that is we were talking about what if we end up in the same group, what should we race like before tournament started, and we were like either Wrath of Cortex or something, or Twin Sanity maybe even, and then I just suggested to him Wrath of Cortex when the tournament started because we same group. He accepted. All right, so yeah, next segment is very interesting and funny because funny moments in round one. Funny moments in round one. What stick out in your head, like the funniest moments, Rexy?
Well, I mean, I already mentioned the Papu nipples moment, but
True.
I mean, yeah. But I also want to bring up two of the matches that James Jones were in, because he definitely surprised us in a couple of ways. Firstly, against me, what I wasn't expecting him to do was game over abuse against me, which made things very interesting, being able to think about it. But yeah, he managed to, do very well. But then Crash happened, and I mean, he still did great, absolutely. And then there was the CTR race against Rob the Gamer. I mean, even though he was trying to aim for CTR tokens in Hub 1, he just left the warp room and got lost, which was also an amusing moment just looking at that. But yeah, other funny moments that caught my eye: Google Pro commentary, as we know, that can end up being a thing. Oh my gosh, I have to really think carefully more about the funnies more than anything else, but
It's fine.
yeah,
Like
I
if you
think
can't.
those were like this. Yeah, those were like the stick outs right there.
Fair enough.
Also, hashtag polar supremacy.
Nice. Okay, well, I'll go and say mine. So, funniest moments for me were Cool Pro versus Danta. Like when Cool Pro was saying 50-50 odds and stuff like that, and Al was making fun of it. Antonio Curtis was making fun of it. And
We had plenty of rain here today. Jeez, you should have seen it. It was raining all day.
Yeah, it actually rained a lot here today as well. Not gonna lie. Can't even
Perfect
cap.
for piss washing. So
Yeah, completely perfect for piss washing.
Another funny part was when Vinny like raised Epka, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna 20% now," and then he started spamming the entropy soundboard, and his PC froze.
Vinny froze because of that.
He was spamming it and he stopped the time, nice. Now you're on my timing race, Con.
Like, literally just froze, and he left the call.
I couldn't remember that. Which race was that in?
Vinny versus Epka.
Oh,
One of the
I
last races.
still need to watch that one back.
Another funny was Crash 4 Tiki versus Toro. They just kept dying and dying in the bonus rounds and failing the goals all the time.
Oh yeah, the roulette race between TK and Toto. I mean,
Yeah.
all that basically was in the end was a race for 2 gems and a real grind, and that was it. Every other spin was cursed.
Yep. Another one was when Kolapro was quoted, and when it sounded like he said "show your tits," just show your tits there, but instead he actually said "chill your tits." But that was funny actually.
Nice Tiziano.
Alright, just chill your tits there.
Another fun was part was we're probably gonna upload this at some point, but the outtake of Ku versus Antonio Curtis, where basically Ku's phone was gonna fry down, and when he game over, he thought the race was over. That was pretty funny.
Guys, that was so quick.
What's up?
Wait, what?
What happened?
I fell in a stupid hole.
Oh, did you game over?
Yeah, I'll keep watching you guys.
What do you mean watching? Like, okay.
No, keep going. Keep going, Q. It doesn't matter if you came over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Ku did try to race, but then, yeah, the difficult part of emulating on your phone is you don't know if you're able to handle it. But the overheat was just too real.
Yeah.
Adam, I think my phone melts.
What?
I think my phone is melting with the heat of Tunis.
No way.
Wait, what happened with your phone?
It's working, but it's the heat affected my neural engine. The neural engine of the phone.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? It's too hot. It's too hot. Well, and what about you, Lopsa? What do you think were the funniest moments?
Well, definitely the Crash 4 bingo, getting pretty much the max rolls twice,
Yeah.
which caused a lot of chaos and confusion, and also James Jones getting lost. That's an iconic moment that will live down for a few years at least.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next segment. So we'll start with Lopsa. So what is your what do you think is the best group in this round 1?
I was expecting it to be Group Tiny because all the big players, but I think in the end it's Group Bandicoot.
Okay, interesting. Any explanations for this decision?
Simply the skill level was so high. Like you could make a case that any one of them could have in Group Bandicoot could have made the quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, interesting. Good shout. Yeah. What about you, Rexy?
I mean, Group Bandicoot is already a great one based on the whole amount of competition, but I also want to say Group Engine had the most unique game spread. I don't think a single game was played twice. We had Crash 2, we had Crash 3, Nitro Kart, Nitro Fueled, Huge Adventure, Back in Time, and Crash Bash. So very great spread of games all the way around there, and some neatly contested matches as well.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to pick a favorite group, but all of the groups were great, honestly. Like, so it's definitely hard to pick. Maybe Group Corex. Group Corex had a lot of good potential, but it ended up being only 3 players for the most part, because one of the players didn't do their matches. But yeah, unfortunate.
Well, despite that, all 3 matches in Group Cortex were a great time, especially since Kolapro was involved in 2 of them. Yes.
And of course, Curtis and Danta, they are also great, and yeah, it's actually all of them 3 are pretty great in all Crash games,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's good to see them race.
Yeah, the Crash Bandicoot Carnival race, sorry, I had to be bringing the Japanese accent there, it was also really neat to watch. The only thing we're missing with the gold there is an opportunity to fit in the can.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, second warp room, that's the thing.
and for me, I also, you could say I'm a bit biased, but Group Bandicoot honestly as well, because first of all, there's 3 collisions in this group, which is the most collision group that we have. Second of all, as it was already mentioned, a lot of players were in the same skill level in this group. And third also was that all the races were close and great, and great commentary. It was very chill to organize every race, and everyone was a good sport. And yeah, everyone was awesome. So yeah. All right, so let's move to. Oh, you're gonna say?
But to say you indeed being a part of Group Bandicoot means you got to oversee a whole load of different players out there. So you definitely had a good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so next segment is the closest matches. So, in my opinion, closest matches like Gangster Java was like between 10 and 20 seconds difference, and again, very close. Then Lizard Vinny, insanely close, like again like 15 seconds or so. Rob versus Rexy was also very close race, where Rob just needed to finish half of a level and he would have got it. King Pez MTB, another one very close all the way through, and then at the end it was like 13 seconds or so difference. So those were, I might have missed something, but maybe Rexy and Lopsa will say some other races, so we'll see.
Well, you mentioned the most major close races right there. I also thought that you and the Skeleton Casket were close to contended, even though there was like about a lap and a half between you two. But it was still really good. Skeleton and Gangster was also looking really close for most of the way, but the biggest problem with Crash 1 is that when you lose your lives in Game Over, you have to go back to the last place you saved, and nobody used the save function, meaning the pain of just like seeing Skeleton go all the way back to Insanity Beach just opened things up massively. That would have been so close otherwise. I didn't even press that button, but okay.
Hee. Yeah. Alright, what do you think, Lopes, as well?
I think you got it mostly covered there.
You agree? Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Alright, well, I think we got only one segment left, and this is the biggest upset. I think definitely the biggest upset was probably TK beating Abdul and Toro. Like, who would have thought of that? I mean, to be fair though, he did pick the good games, the right games to play them in, in my opinion, and they were a good sport to agree on them. And yeah, so, but definitely very, very big upset there.
Yeah, TK is smart with his game selection right there. So, major props on that. I did also mention Skeleton and Gangster for what could have been a close race, but then, I mean, I thought Skeleton was going to pretty much take it because he's extremely experienced at Crash clones as a whole.
I wouldn't say it's an upset because it's like they're both pretty evenly matched, like pretty much in everything. So except Society, I guess, but
yeah, I guess like I also want to think that James Jones was also the underdog going against Skater in Crash 3. But to be fair, Skater had never played Crash 3 before, and James Jones, we don't really tend to see much of his skill out there, and he's usually so much of the busy man that he doesn't play much. But it was a huge surprise for him to just like edge out in terms of gems. So I can definitely vouch for that.
what do you think, Lopsa? What's your biggest upset?
I'm not sure if I actually have like per match upset, but definitely Crystal Fisher getting eliminated round 1. That's a kind of an upset.
Oh, right.
Considering he's a multiple time tournament winner and the main driving force of ISGP.
Good point. Yeah.
And to get eliminated in round 1, maybe for the first time in these tournaments, I'm not sure.
Insane.
So that's kind of an upset.
Who else did get eliminated? Java as well, I guess, in a way. I guess. An upset a bit because the guy is like pretty good in all great games. Definitely not someone that should be eliminated in round 1, but there you go. I guess you could also say Big Art is an upset because guy's pretty decent as well in just unfortunate group, and yeah.
Yeah, we were meant to have something a little bit luckier for Crystal Fisher, but sometimes dropouts and replacements happen, and that's what the dice rolled.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, guys, hope you watched and enjoyed this Wumpa cast, and if you did, stay tuned for Wumpa cast 2, which will be the second Wumpa cast, which will be probably after round 2, or we might combine round 2 and round 3, but we'll see. But yeah, as for the hosts, me and Lopsa, we'll see you in the next Wumpa cast. And yeah, good luck everyone in round 2. And see you later.